think I'm in a portal. Feel like I'm in a portal, you understand me? Let's jump in, let's go, let's do this.
Take it in the situation, bring it to the table. I was taught to handle business like a gangster. Said this before. Plain Jane roll a new range rover. Big range. Businessman client, real game changer. Everyone who spoke ain't maintaining. Kevin Gates post got my name rated. Big diamond on my pinky ring. Let's go. Old things like a 110 diamond tennis chain blanket. Man, 10 never was a beat famous in the real. Moving heavy. Welcome to the world, man. Purpose-driven, I'm developing riches. Pleasure-driven, you develop addictions. Made a vow, I'ma stand on my pivot. Tokyo, I ain't doing no drifting. Where attention goes, energy flows. Being careful where you place your intention. Manifestation, my senior retention. Bring anything that I want into fruition. Elevating and ranking, my dick is not free. I would not be distracted by women. In their feelings when I made my decision. Got out of compliance, got placed on restriction. Outsiders trying to blemish my image, but I don't respond. My jacket official. Family members started going against it. Deep in their soul, they know that they miss it.
All right, man. Yeah. I'm back in the portal again, you understand me? First off, I gotta give all praise and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Yahweh is the true name of the living God of Israel. His name means he who exists. Yahweh Shai is the true name of the one that everyone ignorantly called Jesus. Reason is because the letter J was created in 1524. The Bible, which is the correct and proper holy book, is way older than 1524. And we know that's the reason why his name couldn't have been Jesus. And the proper way that you say it is Yahweh Shai, and it means he who saves. Rakakwadash is the proper way that you say Holy Spirit in the ancient language, which is the Paleo-Hebrew, and Bahashem is the proper way that you say in the name in the ancient language, which is the Paleo-Hebrew. Second and foremost, I have to pay homage to all the great men who came before me in your previous lifetimes through and during the reincarnation process, doing the same thing that I'm doing for you today in your modern day lifetime, right? All of the great kings, prophets, seers, and priests, right? Who did the same thing that I'm doing for you today in your modern day lifetime, and that is giving you this game. You understand me? Yeah, man. I'm back in the motherfucking portal, man. Yesterday, man, I talked about healing, right? The healing process. We're gonna dig a little deeper into that today, because in order for when you're actually inside of the healing process, what you're really doing is you carrying your cross, right? And this is for my men, right? That's exactly what you're doing, right? I got some clips I want to play. First clip I want to play is really about this 6G network and this RFID chip, right? The mark of the beast, right? And it's very important that I talk about this because if you're not putting the work in right now, when this time comes, which is very, very near in our very near future, right? You gonna fold, right? You gonna fold, right? Let's get it. Let's pull this clip up, right? Right here. Let me rewind it back.
6G will track everyone, everywhere, all day, every day. That's what the CEO of Qualcomm just admitted in a podcast.
6G is going to do, not only at your neighborhood, not only at the city, at the state, but at the entire country level, will map the digital twin, I think, of the world. And that also become very interesting. Of course, in today's, I think, environment, if I say that, everybody will understand it. Like you can do drone detection. Everything that is moving is going to be tracked. You have a radar at scale.
So basically, 6G won't just track digital devices. They're talking about building a model of the entire world where they can track anything that moves.
That's correct.
This is even scarier than what he admitted earlier.
What is 6G? 6G is designed for AI. So in addition of the networks making connectivity and give you faster connections, will sense everything around you. You take the AI to the next level, you can actually get facial recognition of everybody in the room. That's going to be done at scale at a 6G network, and that's more context.
It almost makes no sense for him to admit something like this so publicly. But then again, they're all openly admitting that 6G is pretty damn scary.
So we're into 6G network. I was a leader on 5G getting that done, and now they're up to 6. What does that do? Give you a little bit deeper view into somebody's skin? I like the cameras the old days. So they just had a nice feature. Now they cover every little. Let's see, Michael, you're in good shape. But I tell you, the 6 is coming, huh?
And by the way, this gets even worse, because this 6G mass surveillance is also tied into all these AI companies and their shiny new products.
We're working with pretty much all of them.
I think OpenAI, Meta.
All of them. And you have different things that people wear. Glasses is the easiest one to understand, but they're going to be more. They're going to be jewelry, pins, pendants, things that you wear, and it can connect you to an agent.
And if for some reason smart glasses aren't cutting it for you, well, you can go to your local Nokia store and get a 6G implant.
About 6G earlier, which is around 2030, I would say that by then, definitely the smartphone as we know it today will not anymore be the usual kind of the most common interface. Wow. Many of these things will be built directly into our bodies.
Right. And I'm gonna let this brother who I'm getting the video, who I'm getting that clip from, I'm gonna let him speak, because he's saying he about to say something that's very important. Let him speak right quick.
Debt collector. Not a debt collector, spam call. But anyway, yeah. So if you even want to get on OfferUp, right? You get on OfferUp, you're gonna want to sell something to be able to get your profits and your benefits. You know, to be able to get your money. So in the society that's coming, you're not going to be able to make a sale without having to see it. People are not going to, is either going to be selling, being in tune with the spirit of our Yahweh Shem Yahushua, and some people may make certain barters, but the thing is, they're going to be inclined to the B system. So if they're inclined to the B system, they aren't going to want to deal with you if you don't got to see it. People are going to snitch on you, man. That's another thing. People are not going to be your friends in the times to come. They're going to be like, hey, where's your mark? You know, they have videos of this in movies. You know, they're going to be like, do you have the mark? You know, and people are going to, and a lot of people don't know they have it, because when we read Revelation 16, it lets us know that a lot of people that have it are going to have a grievous sore, a cancerous wound, an ulcer. So it's going to show that they took it, right? And you deserve that, man. You know, these people are ultimately going to be cancer. You know, we always say Esau is a cancer to the earth. He's going to need chemotherapy to be able to get rid of them, which is that thermonuclear missiles. But that's going to be all these people that take that seed. Ultimately, they're going to be cancer-ridden, cancer patients, right? And so the only thing that can cure, when you go into chemotherapy, that goes into chemical therapy. So they're using radiation to be able to get rid of the cancerous cell that's there, right? Ultimately, that's fire. All that is fire. It might not look like fire that comes off a damn bonfire in the backyard, but all radiation is chemicals. It's all a form of fire. Gas is still a form of fire, right? So that's what's going to happen to these people, man, with their unbelief. But the time is coming where they're saying, and that was the last guy that spoke, he was at like a summit. You know, they always had a summits where they come and they speak. So they're letting you know that they say, and the thing is, me and the brothers are talking, they're letting you know that their plan is to do it by 2030, right? It's 2026 right now. And, you know, I mentioned to the brothers, you know, I pray the Lord do his thing and shut this down before 2030, right? Because that's their goal, right? The Lord don't want Esau attaining his goals, you know? So I thought about this. This is Job 5 and 12. Hello. It says, he disappointed.
Right. And, you know, I mean, I had to play that because Man, if you not in the right mind frame, in the right spirit, if you chasing bitches, right? And the next video I'm about to play is from this guy channel. His name is Better Man, right? But he's gonna go into how, as a man, you have to be obsessed with something really bigger than your life. Because if not, what's gonna end up happening is you still gonna become obsessed. It's just gonna be over women, drugs, alcohol, you know, all negative shit, right? Yeah, man, women never love you, bro. You know, women never fucking love you, and there's gonna be a whole bunch of women that's gonna take this chip. Women that right now might be telling you, that might know about it and say, oh, I ain't messing with, they gonna take the chip, bro. They gonna take it. Women love comfort. When a woman is in a situation that's uncomfortable, she can't hang. She can't hang at all. She will sacrifice everything to get back in her comfort zone, right? But as men, we are designed to deal with that. We look for that. We need that in our lives. We need a challenge, okay? A woman can't handle that. I'm gonna go ahead and play this next video though.
What you have to understand about women is that none of them will ever love you. Women do not love out of love. They love through seduction. They love through strategy, and they love through self-interest. Now, don't get me wrong, before we go any further, I don't hate women. I don't think women are evil, and I certainly don't want you guys to hate women either. You wouldn't hate the ocean for drowning in it, and the same is true here for women. You cannot hate the nature of women. You must understand them. And so in this video, I'm going to teach you how to do just that. You see, women don't love out of love, and as men, the problem is that a woman can seduce you under false pretenses. She'll seduce you by being hypersexual on the front end, and if you are a slave to lust, then you will become enslaved to that woman. She's never going to love you the way that your mother loved you, and she'll never love you like she'll love her own children. And in fact, she doesn't love you. You have to understand this. She sees you as a means to an end, which is all disguised in a beautiful intention. And that is what you call love. But it's not love, it's nature. It's nature doing its thing. You have to understand this. A woman is going to lead with what she has in order to get what she wants. So if she sees you, if she's attracted to you, she will do whatever it takes to get you. And this is why it's important to understand that if you're pretending to be somebody that you're not in order to get that girl, or you're trying to get that woman because you're consumed with her beauty, then now you have two people fronting for completely different reasons. And the reality is that when the truth finally hits, you're both going to find yourself in the complete opposite of polarities, because the woman cannot maintain that level of sexual abundance that she gave to you at the beginning, and you, the man performing, cannot maintain that level of performance on the back end. So you end up in a stalemate of resentment. You were doing the bravado to get the girl, and she was giving you what you became obsessed with, and you both tricked each other. And here's the part that most men don't understand. The problem is not that you are obsessed. The problem is what you are obsessed with. Men require obsession to feel alive. A man without obsession becomes depressed, nihilistic, distracted, and weak. Historically, men live in the extremes. Camille Paglia once famously said, "There is no female Mozart because there is no female Jack the Ripper," which is to say that men occupy the extremes of society, and men become great through obsession. But paradoxically, men also destroy themselves through obsession. The key is to which obsession the man falls for. The masculine spirit is not built for moderation. It is built for pursuit, for building, for conquest, for becoming. The problem is that if a man does not become obsessed with a mission, he will become obsessed with a woman. And not just a single woman, but the feminine in of itself. And what the feminine is and what it represents for a man is pleasure, comfort, safety, validation, sex, fantasy, and escape. And what he's really obsessed with is not her. He becomes obsessed with what she represents. And that's relief, a return to comfort, a return to safety, a return to being taken care of. The boy wants pleasure, the boy wants comfort, the boy wants somebody else to carry the burden. But the man wants purpose, the man wants responsibility. The man wants and needs a mountain to climb. Historically, mothers understood this. They loved their sons enough to push them away from feminine comfort and towards masculine initiation, toward discipline, toward responsibility, toward the father, toward the men, and toward the world. Because becoming a man has always meant leaving comfort behind, stepping into the unknown. But today, the culture worships comfort, safety, convenience, pleasure. And that's all very well and good if you're a woman. The feminine requires most of those things before they can even begin. Think of it this way. A woman cannot be in her element unless she feels safe, unless she's comfortable. She doesn't understand the concept of suffering in order to be great. Why would she suffer when she can do it better when she's not suffering? In a feminized culture, women impose their own values upon the men, and the men who are weakened to that femininity conform to that philosophy and become less masculine, become weak men. So the women, indirectly, not through venom, create weaker men because their instinct is to feminize them. So when a man adopts that softness as his highest value, he becomes dependent, he becomes weak. And ironically, he becomes less attractive to those same women that imposed this idea upon him. The principle is the same as the one with the smothering mother. The mother that refuses to let the boy out of her sight condemns that man to never stepping into his masculinity and therefore becoming an unsafe man in the world because he has not learned to fend for himself. He's not learned to be strong and grounded in the chaos of the marketplace, and he learns to attach himself to women in order to feel that comfort and safety that the mother originally provided. It is a perpetual loop that has been continuing for generations now. That is why we find ourselves in a world full of weak men and hardened women. But the women's instinct is to make men weak. Only men can make other men strong. And this is why so many men become consumed by women. Not because women are powerful, but because the man has no greater obsession than her. No mission, no purpose, no mountain, no challenge worthy of his attention. He's been told to stand down and be a good little boy. He's being rewarded for his weakness. And so his masculine drive collapses inward and attaches itself to the nearest source of pleasure. Usually that's a woman, and if it's not an individual woman, it will become a form of addiction. Drugs, alcohol, porn, junk food, video games, you name it. All of the temptations that exist in the modern world, there to tantalize men from being great. The solution here is not to become less obsessed. The solution is to become obsessed with something worthy of your life, something that you want to do every day, that you become consumed with, the action of doing it, the act of doing said thing, where your mind is totally focused on it. Become obsessed with the craft, a business, a cause, a vision, a standard, a legacy. Because if you don't choose your obsession will choose you. And for most men, it chooses a woman, and the culture encourages men to choose that woman, to make the woman the highest of altars in the man's life. Then you will be a good man, be a good citizen, get married, have a woman in your life. Having a woman in your life symbolized you being a successful man, but it is, in modern culture, a submission ritual. It is to remove your masculinity, not empower it. That's also why when a woman has kids, her quote-unquote love for you switches off, because the love was not real. It was all a means to an end. Nature, it was there to bring you into her web, under her control. Now, this is not evil. This is not a moral conquest. This is not a cunning plan conducted by women, by some conspiracy. This is in her instinct. It is her survival strategy. You have to understand this, lads, which is why there's nothing wrong with seduction in of itself. There's nothing wrong even with being in that haze, but you have to understand what it is and what it is not. And primarily, you have to have control over it. And the way you have control over it is by not prioritizing it. It can never become your number one. The pursuit of a woman, having a woman in your life, can never become your number one. Because if you just let yourself lose yourself to all of it, and she pulls you fully in, and I know some of you have done that, and I know some of you are experiencing that right now. Not only is she going to take advantage of that, particularly if you have children, but paradoxically, she's also going to lose respect for you along the way, because she's going to realize that she can control you purely through her sexual power, and that makes her lose respect for you. It's a disappointment to her that all she has to do is show her body. That's not a strong man. That's a boy consumed, and that reality compounds over time, and it compounds the reality of her decision to leave you at the moment when you become fully invested in her, fully consumed. It will be at that moment when she leaves, and it will probably come right after a moment where you finally got to see her in her fullest submission. She will reveal or show you the version of her that fully surrenders, and then she will leave. It's the ultimate reveal, and it is the ultimate initiation for every man. And part of the reason why this happens is because there's no masculine restraint around that woman. So the sexuality of the woman has become the deity, the goddess, and it has been incredibly heightened in value. Sex in the culture has become front-ended in relationships, meaning there's nothing really to do to get the sex anymore. Women were told that was empowerment, and men just let it happen, and this has been detrimental to relationships. There's no waiting for sex anymore. There's no structure for the man to be possessed inside. You see, historically, us men knew this. That's why we built structures, moralities, systems around marriage, around courtship, and traditional relationships. It was there to slow this whole process down, because our ancestors, the men, knew that if sex was given up straight away, the men would be consumed by it. Couple that with technology that's come in to remove the responsibility from sex, and the results are clear to see. Hypersexual, masculine women and weak, consumed, addicted men that have no backbone, that are unable to command respect and submit to women. Our ancestors knew that if men were given that, they would think that that was it, and they wouldn't have to do anything to get it. They wouldn't have to be great to get it. And there was a reason why you had to be great as a man historically. You had to be able to provide. You had to be able to be safe and to be strong. It was literally a matter of life and death. The men that could provide that, the men that were that, meant the survival of the family, and therefore the survival of the village, the tribe. Women have always been strategic when it comes to their relationships. It's all about the continuation of civilization, and it is all done through instinct. So you have to be very aware of this, gents. Women do not love you. They never have. They seduce you for your resources. And if you lie to them because of your obsession with sex and lust and pleasure, you will be exposed. You will be found out, and you will be revealed by that woman. And ultimately, that woman will destroy whatever persona you have projected onto them. This is why men have to become great again. Not performatively, not aesthetically, not pretending to be masculine, but by becoming self-disciplined, dominant over themselves, committed to something higher, and no longer enslaved by lust, seduction, and the feminine. Now more than ever, temptation is everywhere, and there's a reason for that. It's not an accident. Everywhere a man looks, the culture is encouraging hypersexuality, pleasure, sedation, addiction, and that is the very antithesis of masculinity. You see, men have it easier now than ever before, and paradoxically, that is making it harder. It is making them weaker, softer, more addicted, more pathological. It's not a surprise that men are being diagnosed with all sorts of mental issues. It's all cause and effect. It's all downstream from the feminization of the culture. And at the end of the day, what men need is very, very simple. They need challenges that they can accomplish daily so that they do not fall into nihilism. They basically need something to live for. They need to know that life in of itself is intrinsically valuable. And as men, you must derive value from life. You must build it yourself. If you don't build it yourself, you will be tricked into thinking that someone else is the value of your life. And that is why you keep falling for the same mistake over and over and over again. The seduction of the feminine will always reveal that. You have to understand it. You need purpose, you need mission, you need to create impact in the world in whatever way you want. You need to stand up for what is right, regardless of the consequences and regardless of the reflections of others. Protect your families, build a legacy, become the kind of man that constructs his own philosophy and morality, and then hold yourself to it. And if you've lost yourself to a woman, if you become possessed by lust, seduction, fantasy, or obsession, or you've been betrayed by a woman and you're completely blindsided, it's probably time for you to join my private community, Better Man Academy, link in description. Start your 7-day free trial today and learn how to take that part of you that became addicted to her and
Right, and I had to play that, you know what I'm saying, because dude hit a valuable point, and I ended up bumping across his channel after I did my video yesterday, and I was like, yeah, bro, I gotta play you. You know what I'm saying? But this is why also I'm on the vibe that I'm on, and he got another video on here also speaking on the same thing. But this is why I'm refusing to be friends with women, right? I will no longer be friends with women anymore. It de-emasculates you. And he has a video on here where he go into detail about that, right? She loses all interest for you. This is why, man, basically you turn right in front of her face, in her mind, her perception of you, you become a faggot. You become a homosexual right in front of her, in front of her face. You know what I'm saying? And even when I do, you know, communicate with women, I'm not gonna talk about anything deep, politics, Bible, none of that. It's only gonna be about like simple shit, food. You know what I'm saying? You know, what she want to do for vacation or something like that. Outside of that, I'm not getting into nothing deep. It's over with for that. Right? I am totally rebuilding who I am. You know what I'm saying? I'm not smoking. I'm not doing none of that. You know, I'm really on some, and I guess that's why God sent his channel to me. I'm on some better man shit. Right? I'm rebuilding. Right? But I want to get into the lesson. Let's go ahead and get into the lesson. Right? Because everything he spoke about, right? Like he say, man, it's just female nature. Right? But that's why you have to master yourself. Right? You're going to be obsessed with something. You just don't want to be obsessed with her or anything that's of negative frequency. Right? Anything that's not empowering your life, right? And you know, that's just what it is. That's where we at with it. You know, I know I got my lesson up. Chat be tripping sometimes. Okay, there we go. But yeah, man, we about to get this lesson because you got to carry your cross out here, man. When you going through this healing process, that's what you're doing. You carrying your cross, right? And we're going to get in depth about, you know, what that process really incur. And that's if chat, I don't know what's going on with chat. I just had the whole lesson up. Yeah, I just had the whole lesson up, like, I don't know what's up. Crazy. I already know, man. I know who this is. You know what I'm saying? Playing games like this right now. You feel me? And I ain't gonna lie, he been on my bumper, man, since I ain't even been smoking or nothing. This motherfucker been on my bumper, like, you know what I'm saying? Just been on my bumper, you feel me? And I ain't tripping, you know what I'm saying? I already know what time it is, you feel me? Let me do this. Let me do this. There we go. There we go. All right, let's get this lesson in, man. The cross before the crown, right? Let's get the theme scripture, right? Luke 9:23. And he said to them all, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. Notice 3 commands, right? Deny yourself, carry your cross, and follow him. Many want to follow, few want the cross. And that's real. That's real. You know, many want the blessings, but many don't want to do what they got to do to receive those blessings, right? They don't want to put themselves in the correct and proper vibration to receive them blessings, right? They don't want to go through the withdrawal process, right? They don't want to stay focused on something that's going to benefit them, right? Let's get it. What is a cross, right? Many think the cross is merely suffering. Biblically, it represents the willingness to obey God even when obedience is costly, right? And that's it. That's even right now, you know, in our modern day time, but even in the coming days when this chip come. Just off of us refusing the chip, right? We carrying our cross, right? Even right now, if you're not eating crawfish, crabs, pork, you carrying your cross, right? If you reading these scripts, you looking at women from the angle of the scripts, you carrying your cross. You making a conscious decision to jump on semen retention, you carrying your cross, right? The cross is where pride dies, lust dies, bitterness dies, revenge dies, addiction dies, the old man dies. The cross is death before resurrection, right? Right. A lot of people don't want to kill their old nature, right? I had to, you know. I think that these portal lessons, they went to becoming bigger than me. So I had to physically catch up to the lessons. You know what I'm saying? What Chad even told me was like, hey, yeah, you on point. Like everything on point. Everything right on time. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully, man, I can be helping somebody else out there also, you know. Let's get it. Daily examination, right? This is what you got to do every day, man. You got to examine yourself daily. 2 Corinthians 13:5. Examine yourselves whether ye be in the faith, right? Every day ask, am I becoming more patient? Am I becoming more disciplined? Am I becoming more humble? Am I becoming more obedient, right? These are questions that you need to ask yourself, right? Did I do something? Am I doing better today than I did yesterday? Am I exercising more discipline today than I did yesterday? Right? Crucifying the old man, Romans 6:6. The old man loves sin, comfort, and excuses. That's why I play dual video. Right? The old man will stay with that bitch. The old man will stay smoking weed, cigarettes. The old man, he gonna stay hitting blacks. He gonna stay with the vape. He gonna stay with the liquor in his hand, right? He looking for comfort, right? He gonna stay eating the crawfish, crabs, and motherfucking catfish. He looking for comfort. He don't give a fuck about what it's doing to the temple. He don't give a fuck about how much manipulation is being taking place. He just wants the comfort, right? He will make up excuses to be able to get those comforts, right? The new man embraces what? Discipline, obedience, holiness, right? That word holy means he's separate, You on SR, you separate. You try your best to follow the dietary law of the scripts, you separate. Right? You was a smoker, you done put the smoke down, you separate now, you holy now. Right? You was an everyday drinker, you know you could drink in moderation, but if you was an everyday drinker and you was slowed down, you holy now. Right? Mortify the flesh, right? Colossians 3:5. Paul says to mortify the deeds of the flesh. Every temptation becomes a crossroads. Will the flesh rule or will the spirit? This is the battle that we all battle every fucking day of our lives. Right? Every day, all day. This the same battle that play out every day, all day. The flesh against the spirit. Right? Sometimes the spirit wins, sometimes the flesh wins. And it all depends on which one we've been feeding the most. Right? Let's get the next one, the adversary, right? 1 Peter 5:8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. And Satan, is talking about the spiritual entity Satan, but the spiritual entity Satan worked through his physical counterpart, the Caucasian man, Esau Edom, right? And also worked through our women, right? So these are enemies to us, to the Israelite man. Right? Because they are easily possessed and are main candidates for Satan. Okay? The enemy doesn't only attack through fear, sometimes he attacks through what? Comfort, distraction, bitterness, pride, temptation, hopelessness. Right? 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 That bitch making you feel comfortable at home, that's Satan, really. Because you ain't on your mission. You ain't on your purpose. You was working out every day before this hoe came in your life. Now you barely do a push-up. Right? You distracted. Right? Distracted on what? Her pussy. Her good head. Right? Not knowing this bitch was getting ready to flip your fucking world. She don't love you. She don't give a fuck about you. Let's bring up some men who carried their cross, right? Let's get the first one. Job lost everything, still worship. His cross was suffering without understanding why. And you're going to have to be like that. Right? It's sometimes in my life, I'll be like, man, I don't know why this shit popping up with me like this, but I gotta keep going. I gotta keep going. Let's get the next one, Joseph. Joseph was sold, forgotten, imprisoned, yet remained faithful. His cross was betrayal. Right? Yeah, a lot of us done got betrayed. Right? A lot of us done got locked up. Forgotten, right? Sold, right? Yeah, a lot of you niggas done sold your soul to that hoe out there. A lot of you niggas done sold your soul to your job. A lot of you niggas done sold your soul to your homeboy, to your partner, right? A lot of you niggas done sold your soul to nicotine, caffeine, right? Marijuana. Right? But I told my partner KB yesterday, I said, I thank God, right? He allow us as men to smoke weed, smoke cigarettes, vape, and do all those things, drink heavily. He allow us to do it because there's no rites of passage over here in America for us. So after a while, that shit gonna start weighing down on you. Either you gonna do two things. Either you gonna embrace the man inside of you, or you gonna let the little boy continue to drive and eventually crash the motherfucking car. Crash the motherfucking car. And when I say crash the car, I'm talking about you gonna end up in prison. or you gonna end up on the motherfucking deathbed. Right? Moses, right? 40 years in Midian, right? Leading a difficult people, interceding for Israel repeatedly. His cross was perseverance and leadership, right? David, hunted, rejected, living in caves, waiting years after being anointed. His cross was patience, right? And a lot of us, man, you've been waiting for a minute. You've been waiting for a minute. You know you're a king within yourself. You know you got the proper tools to be able to elevate yourself. Some of you guys done been in the army. Some of you guys done been locked up, where you done been separated from the population of people. Where you done had to work out. There was no smoking or anything going on around you. Right? Now you stuck. You back in the loop again. You like, what the fuck? Right? But you know within yourself, you know you got that king. Right? You got to activate them and remain patient through the process as you rebuild yourself. Let's get the next one. Daniel refused compromise, right? Entered the lion's den. His cross was unwavering faith under pressure. That's how we gonna have to be real soon. If you going through withdrawals, you in that mode right now, right? Your faith is unwavering under pressure. No withdrawals is pressure. Right? But you like, nah, I'm good. I'm fuck it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna fuck with it. I ain't gonna fuck with it. It's gonna pass. It's gonna pass. It's gonna pass. Right? You gonna have to be like that when the chip come. Everybody else around you got a chip. They able to go inside of the store. They able to buy something. You can't do nothing though, because you ostracized out of society. But you got faith in what? The Most High. And he ain't gonna leave you, dog. He gonna look out for you. Let's get the next one. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego refused to bow, entered the furnace. The furnace became the place where God's presence was displayed. Yeah, that's what God want to do in your life right now. He want to use you as a canvas to display his power. That's what he want to do, man. Right? He want to clean you up. But he want to do it. Right? Let's get the next one. Jeremiah, rejected, imprisoned, mocked, yet continue proclaiming God's word. Yeah, we all about to go through that soon. Those who believe. Those of us who do believe. Right? Some of us getting rejected now. Some of us about to be in prison for talking about God. A lot of us getting mocked right now for talking about God and talking about the RFID chip is the mark of the beast. Right? Let's get the next one. Noah built the ark for decades before the flood came. His cross was faithful obedience while being misunderstood. Yeah, you know, still got to be faithful even though the world don't understand you. The world don't understand why you understand you gotta be on semen retention. The world don't understand why you understand that, look man, I gotta put the smoke down, I gotta put the drink down, I gotta put the herb down, I gotta put the cigarettes down. They don't understand that. I gotta put the vape down. They don't understand it. They thinking you going crazy. Man, you been doing it all this time. Shit, man, my people and them been smoking all day life, ain't it? But they don't understand why you doing it. Right? They ain't gonna understand why when this chip come, nah, I'm good, I ain't taking no chip. So you gonna lose your house, your car, you about to lose your family, bro. Your wife talking about she ready to leave. Your girl talking about she ready to go. She gonna take the kids and then, damn, bro, you gonna jeopardize all that behind the little chip? Yeah, bro, I'm not taking it. God say don't take it. Huh? Well, I ain't never read it in the Bible. It don't say chip. It don't say RFID chip. It don't specifically say that in the Bible. Yeah, you might as well get ready for that conversation. That's the justification of excuses motherfuckers about to be coming with so they could take it. But you got to stand firm, right? Let's get the next prophet. Ezekiel was called to speak to the people who would not listen. His cross was proclaiming truth regardless of the response. Right? Don't give a fuck about nobody's feelings. Right? The truth has to be spoken. Paul, shipwrecked, beaten, imprisoned, yet preached continually. His cross was sacrificial service, right? Paul got to the point he wasn't fucking with none of these hoes. Paul said, man, my mission on this minister is bigger than a whole life. Right? He was obsessed with the ministry. You gotta find something as a man to be obsessed over. If not, you gonna fall victim to a hoe every time. If not, you gonna fall victim to porn, fall victim to nicotine, fall victim to marijuana, fall victim to coke, fall victim to meth, fall victim to fucking fentanyl every motherfucking time, fall victim to alcohol every motherfucking time, fall victim to codeine, fall victim to motherfucking lean, fall victim to pills. You gonna fall victim every motherfucking time. Why? Because you ain't got something that can benefit your life, that shows benefit in your life that you obsessed over. So you looking for comfort. The little boy in you, it won't comfort. Right? It don't want the pressure. It won't comfort. Let's get the greatest one, the Messiah, Yahushua, the supreme example. He willingly bore the literal cross. His suffering became the foundation of redemption. Right? Yeah, he died for the sins of the Israelites. Not for all people, only the Israelites. But in order for that blood to be activated, he walked the earth and he didn't break now one of the 613 laws. That's why his blood was the perfect sacrifice. His mission, he understood his mission was bigger than a whole life. But he understood that because he knew too, he was King Solomon in the reincarnation process. He knew them hoes had distracted him and fucked him up before. So he wasn't gonna let them hoes fuck him up in this lifetime. He was on his mission. Shout out to Yahushua. Let's get the Apocrypha. Ecclesiasticus 2:1-5. My son, notice this verse is coming back out. It came out yesterday in my lesson. My son, not my daughter, not no princess. My son, this is for men. The Bible is for men. It's a man's book. It's a book for kings. Ain't no hoe supposed to have the Bible. Just like a white man ain't supposed to have the motherfucking Bible. But we in slavery. So when you in slavery, right, or you in prison, right, when you get locked up, they take all your belongings, don't they? Yeah. So right now, our enemies have our belongings. That's why the churches are filled up with women. They in that bitch studying. Like the CIA studying. They know about the Bible. They know what the Bible said about them. They know what the Bible said about men and how men are supposed to be conducting themselves. But they reading it because they know one thing. If I know and I figure it out and I know how he supposed to move, I can counteract that. Fuck them hoes. I said it. Yeah, I'm back with the sword of motherfucking Elijah. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. Yeah, you want that furnace of adversity. You going through your withdrawals, you in the furnace of adversity. You going through your problems in life, and you can't get none of them vices, you going through the furnace of adversity. Your bitch done stepped out on you, you going through the furnace of adversity. You want it. It's gonna build you up, make you stronger. Let's get another one. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3, 5-6. As gold in the furnace have he tried them. The Most High love trying his men. He love putting you through the fire. It make him happy. Let's get my testimony, right? This week, man, I carried a cross I had avoided for years, right? I quit smoking. I quit coffee. My relationship ended, right? My car overheated. I wanted relief. I did. But I learned something. Every time I refused the cigarette, I wasn't merely quitting smoking, right? I was putting the old man on the cross, right? And that was the same with the caffeine. That was the same with my car situation. That was the same with my ex, right? I realized through the whole process, I'm killing this old man. That's why I told her, man, I ain't worried about getting another bitch. I'm trying to heal. Right? Even if I was to give you, even if me later down the line, me and you was the fuck, I would never see you the same. I would never see you the same. That's where I want to be at, healed. And I right now I can't even look at women the same as I did before I did that lesson yesterday. Right? Even really before my relapse, I can't view women the same right now. And I probably never will. I know there's women right now they want to get in touch with me, but they listening to these lessons, they know it's best for me not to call him at all. At all. I am on one. Psalm 91:1. The Psalm 91 man isn't produced by comfort. He is produced by trust. The secret place is learned through dependence on the Most High. Right. Because you got that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Isaiah 4:1. You cannot connect this by emphasizing preparation. It's talking to me. Before thinking about leadership or relationships, a man must first become a man of character. And that's what's going on, I feel like, with myself. I'm becoming a man of character. Right? My lesson encourages men to seek healing, discipline, and faithfulness first. Trust in the Most High with the future, right? He say, man, you know, he'll add all things unto you, right? Let's get the prophetic application. The refining process often feels like loss. It does. Relationships may end. Habits must die. Old identities are left behind. But the purpose is not destruction. The purpose is transformation. And that's how I feel right now. I feel like I'm being transformed. I do. I feel like I'm being transformed. I feel like I'm getting stronger. Right? Stronger. Let's get to conclusion. The cross is not simply something carried once, according to Luke 9:23. It is carried daily, right? This is a daily thing. Every day I wake up, I have to fight my flesh. Nah, you ain't getting no cigarettes today. Nah, you not talking to none of these hoes today. Nah, you not drinking no coffee this morning. Right? It's a daily thing. I have to fight my flesh daily. Every temptation, every disappointment, every trial, every morning, right? Every tear. The old man says, choose comfort. The Spirit says, choose obedience. The cross is where the old man dies and the crown comes afterward, right? And that's what we all seeking, man. And the final crown, right, the major crown, right, the major win, right, is when we refuse that RFID chip, right? We're only being prepared right now spiritually through the Spirit to be able to stand and refuse that chip, right? This is why you guys are being called to the mission, right? And I hope, man, that you all have learned something, man, and until I see you guys again in the portal, right? Find you something that's bigger than your motherfucking life. Find you something that's bigger than their whole life. right? I don't give a fuck if it's just going to the gym. If you do smoke, man, put the smoke down for a minute. Make it a mission. If you do drink, put the drink down for a minute. Make it a mission. You need a mission in your life. Without a mission in your life, you gonna fall to that hole, and you gonna fall to every other vice that's only on this earth to destroy you. Right? You smoking crack, put that crack down for a minute and make it a mission. You on fentanyl, you on pills, put it down and make it a mission. You need a mission in your life. Without a mission, you fail. Without a mission, you fall. Without a mission, death becomes you. And on that note, I hope you all have learned something. And until I see you guys again in the portal, I ask that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai keep you all covered. And until next time, I'm out.